what we can measure. I want you, and I'm sorry, not the notebook, sorry, the handout, the word purple. I'm big on analyzing things. What we measure. This is the main thing you measure. Cost to raise $1. Okay? You need to make sure that we are good stewards of the organization's money. And we're going to need to, to be accountable, whether that is in healthcare, 25 cents to raise $1, independent schools, colleges, universities, 15, human services may be a little less, a little more, somewhere in that zone. But we're going to want to make sure that that cost to raise $1 is working for us. Okay. Remember this, that in fundraising, we count. We don't account. And let me tell you where the difference is. Accountants are great at balancing and cutting. And they can be pretty draconian, on the cutting. God bless them. My best friend is an accountant. But typically, as a culture, they do not understand resource development. They do not understand our math. Because let's put it this way. You give us 20 cents, we can almost promise $1 or thereabouts. 500% return, 400% all to the good. It's all above the line. It is all above the line. Pure profit. So, hard times come, the accountants say, we're going to cut you, and we're going to have to give you 10 cents. Okay, to rate, instead of the 20, we're going to give you 10. We're going to cut you in half because we're going on hard times. And you have to, it's just amazing how you have to just teach the accountants new math. Now, you can't just teach them one time. They're going to look at you like this is voodoo economics. But I'm just going to say to my accountant friends, okay, you cut us by 10 cents. Then you have to be prepared not to raise an incremental 50 cents and to profit an extra 40 cents. You can cut me, but you cut me to your peril, because you can cut anywhere else, but if you cut here, you're cutting a bounce of a 400% return. Now let me tell you, hear me, this is your responsibility to communicate to administration, because most administrative types don't necessarily, more and more they are coming from resource development world. But typically there's a route, particularly in healthcare, they're coming from accounting. They're numbers, bean counters. And God bless them, but if they don't understand resource development and you don't communicate resource development and that new math, then, they'll cut you and they just don't know how much the system's going to bleed as a result. Okay? Does that make sense to you? So don't let anybody monkey with your budget. Okay? If they do, let them have it.
Your cost to raise $1 better be a pretty good number before you start saying, don't cut me.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
you need to be close to industry expectations.
Yeah, you have to be at pretty much industry expectations. And if you're fledgling organizations, it's going to take you 4 or 5 years to ramp up, to kind of hit that zone. And let me tell you, by definition, annual giving has a much higher cost to raise $1. capital giving, on average, for an annual giving campaign, it can be as high as 40 cents to raise a dollar. But when you throw in capital giving in your resource development mix, you're going to shake out at being somewhere between 5-7 cents to raise a dollar, which is going to give you a huge bounce. Legacy giving, Calder has one statistic where if you spend $1 on legacy giving, you're going to get about a $77 return through a death time transfer, because you get the big bounce. You don't get many, but you get a big bounce compared to the number of dollars that you spent on plan giving. So just keep all that in mind. And that cost to raise a dollar has to be a holistic cost. Don't just look at one thing like special events. What is that? That's at least typically 50 cents to raise a dollar or more. Direct mail acquisitions, sometimes it costs you more money than you get in return. But why are you willing to do it? Because if you hook somebody, even though it costs more than $1 to raise a dollar, in year 2, you're going to get that money back, and you grow these acquired donors from year to year to year, and so it pays off. Okay. I'm throwing a lot at y'all, but you know.
I want to ask a quick question.
What's the meaning of life?
Do you have a quick answer? And maybe I've got a question. Okay, our CEO is a former accountant.
Yeah.
One metric that he holds me accountable to is cost per dollar raised.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I get evaluated on that quarterly, monthly actually. Some months are better than others. However, the goal that he set was back when we were during campaign season.
Yeah. No.
It's not obtainable for me now that we're out of campaign, but I still have that target.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, because here's another thing. Cost to raise a dollar is within the holistic universe of resource development. And what we do in sophisticated shops, take a 5-year rolling average, because you're going to be rolling in and out of capital campaigns. And believe it or not, you know, there are some organizations that wait too long between capital giving intervals. You know, resource development needs a capital campaign every 5 or 7 years just to help us make our numbers work. You know? Really.
No, it's true.
You know?
To justify the department?
Well, not just to, well, hopefully it's there to justify the mission of the organization, because, I mean, I'm kind of wondering if you don't have a capital campaign every 5 to 7 years, maybe we're not pushing the envelope as an organization.
What should the break be? Have you found, is there a standard industry, or industry standard, I think is what I'm going to say,
Okay.
that you should have a break in between capital campaigns, or?
We say you should have one every year. No, we don't.
You're either planning one or you're in one,
Yeah.
and you're
Planning
stewarding.
one or in one.
But it's okay.
I would say about every 7 years, particularly if you have a 5-year pledge payment period.
Right.
Go fallow a year, have your study, and then hit it again.
That's good.
Yeah.
Every family in a school, and particularly, probably should go through maybe 3 campaigns.
Yeah.
If they're there from, you know, all the way.
Right.
So what if you did a 3-year pledge, have a year break?
Yeah. I'd go fallow for a year, and then the next one, feasibility study, and the next one.
Okay, so going back to that cost per dollar raise,
Mm-hmm.
you said you need to educate or something like that. You mentioned something that triggered. How do I go to administration and talk to them about the cost per dollar raise and how?
Well, you know, just say that you went to this great seminar.
Okay.
And these
tell them to call
are
off.
some industry metrics that kind of turned on the light for you. That
Okay.
I like that word sophisticated.
Yeah.
That he keeps using.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there are different levels.
Sophisticated.
And let me tell you, folks.
And if
we-
you don't understand, that just means you're unsophisticated.
Well, you know, at least in the ways of resource
Oh,
development, you know.
I can evaluate.
You can be, I tell you, you can be a millionaire, and I assume too much just because you're rich that you know that maybe you understand tax-wise ways of giving. Ain't necessarily so.
That's right.
Ain't necessarily so. So just say that what I came back and I learned is that cost per dollar raised is an important metric, and that it includes your entire holistic resource development program, including annual giving, capital giving, legacy giving. And typically it is snapshotted in kind of 5-year rolling averages. Where the hope is that you're going to catch a capital campaign cycle within that, and you're going to capture within legacy giving a good death. Okay. Now, here's the other little trick.
I mean, there's also a financial incentive based on this, and I can never meet the unrealistic goal that was set back during campaign season, so I just let it go. I don't even
I
argue my
am a
case.
big believer in, don't let them hand me a goal unless there's some kind of donor analysis.
Nothing.
It is said that, a love mentor said that, John Claypool, do y'all remember him?
Oh, yeah.
He's the one I blamed for me going to seminary. He said that disillusion is a child of illusion. And if you throw out some illusory goal, not based on any kind of metric evidence, any kind of science, you're setting yourself up and your donors up for disillusion, to give them an illusory goal. It's just not fair.
Well, just to break it down, our CEO looks at it differently on cost per dollar raised
I'm sure.
than what our foundation board and finance committee wants to look at it. In fact, it became to a big head where we don't even look at our cost per dollar raised on a monthly basis or annual basis. The hospital does, the CEO does, but our foundation board doesn't even want to know it anymore because it's evolving.
It should be a 5-year rolling average, and that's where you get a clearer picture of things, because it's like the stock market is too volatile from month to month to month, but if you see the year long, you see a little bit of an upward movement. So you don't go on the short-term blips.
Yeah, I think that's a battle, a war that I can't win, but whatever.
But don't be a weenie. But here's the thing. What I'm trying to suggest is, it is only we are formed with this math. Accountants are formed in a different way, and that's fine. We all contribute, and ours should not be the only word, but theirs should not be the only word. Okay.